Dzień dobry, assalamu alaikum, ciao, konnichiwa, bonjour, hola, good morning, good morning, good morning. This is Ken at 10. How are you? I hope you're well today. It is a starkly beautiful spring morning here at JAHQ in Norbury, and we're looking forward to a great day here. We've got lots of valuations today, which is always great fun for me, and the guys have got lots of new instructions to work on and some new ones coming up as well. So quite an exciting time here at JA. In terms of the market, really interesting chat yesterday. If you ever look at property news and editorial, you may know a name, Tim Bannister. He's the head of statistics, one of the directors at Rightmove, and he kindly gave me about half an hour of his time yesterday. I'm hoping he'll jump on the Property Buyer and Sellers podcast with me at some point as well. But it's really interesting chewing the cud with him over current statistics and what's going on, and what the statistics tell us right now. And what they tell us is across the board, records are being broken. In terms of the UK property market right now, it's quite crazy out there. All records are smashed in terms of level of rentals, level of sales, volume of sales, number of applicants per property. It's all through the roof. There are a few numbers that I want to give you around some statistics as well. They're not provided directly by Tim, but the general sentiment was a lot of optimism out there. Will that change eventually? Well, who knows? The property market does tend to go in cycles, and those cycles can last a long, long time. I mean, the important thing, there are three secrets to successful investment as a landlord or property investor. And I'm going to go through those with you on the podcast this week. And that will be coming out hopefully by tomorrow around sort of midday time. But a few other things around at the moment. Number one, interestingly, having said that, there is a slowdown in rural property. There was an article in the Telegraph which said that the property market in rural areas might have peaked, and it might be the last fandango as numbers seem to be stagnating slightly in the countryside. Well, this is interesting, but also bear in mind the countryside has been busier than London for a considerable amount of time while we've been in heavy lockdown and people have been scared of the city. So even if the countryside is a bit slower, it doesn't necessarily follow that London will be, because we may well have a bit more catching up to do. The other thing that I saw was they're talking about now the possibility of voting on your neighbour's extensions. This would be a good one. It's especially hot topic around here in London, where everybody's building everything in their back gardens. And the idea that really it's right, isn't it, that you should get a democratic vote on your neighbour's extensions. It seems right and proper to me anyway. I don't know what you think. Average number of properties per agent. And this is an interesting statistic right now. There are at the moment 29 buyers on average for every property in the UK. And what that tells us is that the market is far more heavily weighted in favour of sellers than buyers. So it's great news if you're selling, but for most of us, we're selling and buying. So that win evens out, doesn't it? Because when we come to buy, we're in the same situation as our buyers. Having said that, it does show a very strong market, and that confidence is feeding through in terms of people instructing us right now, which is great to see. But to give you an idea of the historic average, we would expect to see per branch of estate agent in the UK roughly 50 or 60 instructions. And when you're looking at normally 50 or 60 properties per agent, and now we're looking at an average of 38. So 38 to 50 or 60, you can see the problem. Michael Gove's been talking again, as he does, about housing targets. Now he's the housing minister. And what he says is that he doubts the target of 300,000 houses that his own government have set for many years and never made. Now all of a sudden he doubts it. Funny that. He says it's not the only measure. Oh, really? Well, what is the only measure of housing stock if it's not the number of units that you're building? I'd like to know what his other measure is, but that's politicians for you and sound bites. So apart from that, really busy day today on valuations. That's lovely to see. Got some advice needed by a couple of new landlords, and that's always good to chat through, to explain to people how it works, what the procedures are, and a really exciting new instruction just come live in Pollard's Hill South, which you may have seen me share. I've also shared a property which we're not actually instructed on, and it's in St Christopher's Gardens in Thornton Heath. It's on the market with a competitor agent, but if you're looking for a good buy-to-let investment locally, then I think that's a really good one. It's on the market for offers over 250,000. It's a 2-bedroom. Why do we favour this block? We don't know the seller. We don't particularly like the agent or hate the agent. It's purely a case that we know that that represents a good investment buy for you if you're a potential landlord, new or old. Why? Well, Number one, it has no lift. Great thing to look for if you're a buy-to-let investor is whether the property has a lift, because if it has a lift, at some point the lift will break. Certainly if it doesn't break, it will need maintenance. If it needs maintenance, you're paying for that through your service charges. The potential for larger costs later on with larger blocks is much greater. So the good thing about these blocks are they're quite small, and therefore they're brick and tile. There's not that much to go wrong because there's no lifts. They share the freehold. The service charges are competitive. When you share the freehold, you also employ the managing agents. And the advantage here is that if the managing agents get silly with their annual costs, you can sack them and bring in another, or you can outvote them and make sure that those costs are controlled. So St Christopher's Gardens in Thornton Heath, borders of Norbury, really good little investment, 2-bedroom flat, double and a single, gets good rent and therefore a good yield, and is a good long-term solid investment that will see you right through the years. If you're looking for something perhaps for your children's education supplement, perhaps for your pension, this is a perfect one. They're easy to maintain and really good buy-to-let investments. So that's one that might help you. I hope it does. Homes and the Hammer is in the background there. Why? We're on again. Yes, this time the one that didn't get broadcast last time in Brixton. This is a fabulous house. You've got to see this one. It's on Tuesday, so if you get bored with us after 10, I'm sorry about that, but turn over to BBC. You're going to see this again at 10:15 to 11:15, I think it is. We're in Brixton, and we're looking at a property in actually Arradine Road in Brixton, and it was a fantastic little investment, and I love what the clients did with it. They really have made a beautiful job of it. And what's nice about it is a lot of the time what I find is that some of the soul and life is taken out of older period buildings where they just make them into square boxes with bifold doors and the island kitchen that everybody's got. But in this case, they've gone the other way, and they really have restored that lovely period feel, and the character really does feel part of that house. I hope you enjoy that one. If you get a chance to have a look. So apart from that, I hope you have a fantastic day today. Thanks very much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow with another edition, and we'll be creating the podcast, which will place for you live later on in the day. So enjoy the sunshine. Have a fantastic day. Look after yourselves, and if you can, your family and friends. Ciao.